If this ain't just the cutest thing, I don't know what to tell you, because that is without a doubt the cutest and most wholesome thing I've seen in a while, and this episode was chock full of that. Now, honestly, I was a little worried I wasn't going to be able to record the review today, because my memory card and my camera completely broke, malfunctioned. I was like, no, absolutely not. My Dress Up Darling Saturdays, we gotta make the video, so ran on over to good old Walmart, picked me up a new one, and here we are. What's absolutely fantastic about episode 9 here, which honestly, it's sad to see that we're already on episode 9, 3 episodes to go before we wait for a season 2, goddamn. But what was great about it was seeing more flusteredness from Gojo's perspective, because for a while now, we've been very much focusing on Marin kind of understanding that she has feelings for our boy here. And very much he doesn't even understand, or at least is a very kind of confused, a little conflicted. Is she actually hanging out with me just because I make her things, or are we actually friends? But to see him throughout this episode in the face of other sexual-like things and characters undressing or chests popping out, he just thinks of Marin and like, what if she was to wear my outfit? Would I let her? And then he gets really embarrassed. If you needed any more confirmation that this is a two-sided romantic feeling situation, this episode delivers that. And I think they've already delivered that, but it's good to have more reminders, especially since we've been mainly focusing on the female perspective in terms of like who likes who. So now to reverse it and give him just a time to shine, because Gojo is just as memorable as Marin, let's be honest here. The reason this entire show works so well is that both the male and female leads are incredible, right? You know, how many times have we seen, you know, quote-unquote best girl in an anime, but the boy you just want to throw off a cliff? You don't want to do that to Gojo. You love his personality, so to see him just rock it and how he immediately recognized that Shinju, Juju's sister, most likely wants to cosplay. And I mean, commenters themselves were already speculating, right? It kind of feels like she wants to, but maybe she's fearful that she can't. I mean, she already grew up into a lot more of a mature body earlier than probably every peer around her. So the idea of especially wanting to cosplay as a boy with a very large chest, it's just, honestly, that's a pretty conflicting feeling, and you're just going to want to support your sister. But the fact that he, of all people, recognized and encouraged her, and there's some funny moments like him realizing, because he's been working with people who have part-time jobs, so they can fund the cosplay, where she has an allowance, and that really puts into perspective just how much she grew up so soon. And honestly, even though it's presented in a funny fashion, you know that's causing her a lot of issues at school. And even if people aren't necessarily bullying her, there's self-confidence issues. It happens time and time again when people grow up. And I love the idea that instead of having to buy like a uniform, she could wear his. But then you have to question, okay, well, it's not just going to fit her, right? She has a larger chest and she doesn't have the shoulders of a man. Well, you can use shoulder pads, you can, you know, sew it up and change up the seam and stuff. And I love seeing the transformation, and how one of my favorite points from this episode, and I always have these points that I know most people don't give a shit about, but it adds such a level of thought that so many stories forget about. We live in 2022, and if these characters have smartphones and they're ordering things off of the Amazon equivalent to whatever their world has, when they're confused about how to hide her chest because the natural kimono sash that they wrap around the chest to make it kind of like contracted in wasn't enough to hide her breasts. So what they do is they basically go to Google. They say, how the hell do you do this? And the fact that like they actually showed a question and answer section, that's the type of stuff that if you're gonna have smartphones in your anime, at the very least, if you're gonna run into a problem, Google it, because that's what any logical person does. You don't know where something's streaming? Google it. You don't know how to, you know, change a tire? Google it. There's probably a how-to video on YouTube. And the fact that they actually use their technology to answer and actually do something that's real in our own world, I thought was really, really well done. And to see their reactions when she walked in, not even recognizing that it was the sister at first, and how it wasn't just Marin kind of going off like a little girl basically launched into a candy shop with an unlimited credit card. You also had the sister equally encouraging. I love how much of a sisterly dynamic these two have, and the fact that it's not hostile. It's not anything other than supportive. You saw it with the camera talk and how she loves taking pictures of her big sister. But then you're seeing the same encouragement, like, you look fantastic, and in return, we get the triple cosplay, and I wasn't expecting that. And even before all that memorable stuff, the first, like, literally 2 minutes, I think it was just amazing to see the flusteredness, to see the picture talk, how she is just, I love Marin, man, because she's both so confident and so oblivious to what she's doing. when she recognizes that she may be showing feelings to Gojo, she often gets embarrassed and flustered, or in the case of this episode, actually pokes fun like, oh, you don't want to see me in this, you must really like what you're seeing. That's more the flirty banter. But the fact that she can send a picture like this, and then have the audacity to be like, I saw you read it, why didn't you respond to that? And he's like, how in the actual hell am I supposed to respond to that? Like, this show, I love these twos back and forth, because honestly, the fact that both of them have had moments of embarrassment because of the other, her just looking at Gojo standing in the ocean had her honestly just shaking in her boots, like being like, oh my god, he's so cute, he's everything I want. And then you have the reverse of, wholesome, like, moments of embarrassment from her. And then for him, it's like, you don't realize the sexual lust you were pouring onto me and the hormones and shit that's going through my body right now. This is torture for me. I absolutely love, though, how they're continuing to show that it's not one-sided, it's two-sided. Both of them very much have that romantic lust for the other. And to see how it constantly, even if the other's not on screen with them, they're constantly thinking about the other, and that really goes a long way to further flesh out and make the viewers unanimously want to root for these two getting together, which is why when the pollings come out, like every week, there's plenty of different Twitter accounts that do, like, rank your favorite couples and things like that. They're almost always at the top, and rightfully so. I think at this point, though, now that we've seen these three triple cosplay, the only thing I want to see now is I want to see my boy Gojo cosplay. I'd love to see him and Marin cosplay before episode 12 wraps up, and to see how both would probably equally embarrass because they'd both think the other looks so beautiful and handsome and shit, and that would be incredible. But honestly, with what we've seen in 9 episodes, it shakes most anime in their boots, just showing how much characterization, how much development, how much wholesome, horny, funny shit we've experienced. This anime is a prime example if you're wanting to write anything school-related or hobby-related, because this show just shows all other anime who the hell's boss, and everyone else is going to go get that box soda if you don't even have to ask, because they're just going to be like, you're in charge, I will do your bidding, because you're just that damn memorable. Honestly, My Dress Up Darling is one of this season's best. It's probably going to be one of this year's best, to be honest, just for the production level. The amazing cast of characters, like seriously every character is memorable. And to continue to get more information in that kind of like very simplistic fashion, but explain it to both sides, those who understand the concept and those who don't. Last week we had camera talk and they did a great job kind of going about the perspectives and things like that. This week they did a similar thing with makeup. Me, no real knowledge on the makeup foundations and all that shit. I appreciate that, and I'm sure there is an equal number of people who appreciated last week with how they explain cameras and lenses and things like that. This show is 10 out of 10. It is incredible. Apparently there's always like drama online that I don't see because my comment section never experiences it about it being too fan servicey. Those people need to go touch grass in my honest opinion, because this show is a 10 out of 10, and I think many of us agree with that statement. Thoughts and feelings though? Favorite moment? What do you think of the dynamic and the triple cosplay that we got in this episode? Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.